Ms. Lynch?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we just called Humphrey from Friday. Mr. Chambers has been spot appointed on that. Your appearance for the record?
Dinah Lynch on behalf of the people, P84589.
Good morning, Judge Arnie Chambers, P63956, on behalf of Mr. Humphrey.
And what's your pleasure, counsel?
Judge, I was spot appointed 10 minutes ago. I don't know anything about this case. I don't know if my client is in custody, if he's out of custody. If he's out of custody, I would like a PCC date maybe next week. But
I'll give you a PCC date of March 1st. I'm sorry, not March 1st. PCC date of February 23rd at 8:30.
all right, let's do it.
The court will adjourn the probable cause conference on February 23rd at 8:30. Final be continued.
But Judge, may I have this? I would request discovery in this matter.
Chambers House today as soon as possible. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Judge, do we know if my client is in or out? I haven't been given any information.
Didn't think he's out. Because I don't see right. He has a personal bond.
Okay. We'll figure it out. Thank you, Judge.
Oh, no, he's in, Mr. Chambers.
He's in?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. See you Friday.
All right. Okay. Mr. Johnson, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm here on Leon Wells. I don't know if the jail is on yet, but.
Did you want to wait on him or waive his presence?
I'll waive his presence, Judge.
Okay, we're waiting on the bills. Yes, Mr. Johnson's here. Mr. Gordon's here.
Call the case number 2405-567701, State of Michigan versus Leon Williams. Defendant is charged with count 1, homicide, murder, first degree premeditated. Count 2, weapons, firearm, possession by felon. Count 3, weapons, felon, firearm, second offense notice. Count 4, felon, firearm, second offense notice. Defendant has a habitual offender, second offense notice.
Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mark Fedoric for the people, P76177.
Good morning, Your Honor. May it please the court, Bertram Johnson appearing on behalf of Leon Wells, P46646. Judge, I've had the opportunity to speak with, I waive his presence, Judge, for this hearing.
The court awaiting the defendant's presence. What's your pleasure?
Judge, I've had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Fedoric, the APA in this case, and there were some hiccups with the digital discovery. We have received some of the paper discovery. However, we did file well, at any rate, I've spoken to him. We're going to deliver him a hard drive to try to straighten these discovery issues out. So we're just asking for a little bit more time if the court will oblige for the scheduling of the preliminary exam.
And, you know, just for the record, the people did send a evidence.com link to Mr. Bertrand's office last Friday. And my understanding is there's just some issues with Mr. Bertrand or Mr. Bertrand's office attempting to download some of the files. So.
All right. So how is March 12th again at 10 o'clock?
That Jeffrey Hester trial has been canceled we got new dates on the Jeffrey Hester trial, right? For March 12th. What time, Judge?
10 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll take it.
That works for people, Your Honor.
March 12th at 10 o'clock, bond will be.
Thank you, Judge.
Have a good day.
Okay. Mr. Sullivan, you're here, what?
I'm here on Mr. Reader in custody, and then Mr. Pitts.
Reader and Pitts, so.
Yeah. Judge, on Reader, I prefer if I can activate the jail joins. I don't know how Mr. Pitts. I have so. Can I leave my number with the board and then jail's on Mr. Pitts joins?
So you want to wait on both of them?
Unfortunately, yes, Judge, I do want to address on bond, Mr. Reader, and so. And then Mr. Pitts, I don't know what wants to do, but I haven't had contact with them. I'm gonna try it.
He's not in custody.
Not to my knowledge.
So, okay,
I figured that would be the case, Judge.
okay, we can call.
Calling case number 19-05-730601, people of the state of Michigan versus Leon Pitts. Defendant is charged in count 1, home invasion, person 3, count 2, assault with a dangerous weapon, count 3, domestic violence.
Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor, and to your staff again. Dinah Lynch on behalf of the people, P84589.
Good morning, Judge. Neighborhood Defender Service by Andrew Sullivan, P84261. Here on behalf of Leon Pitts, who's not present at this time.
Have any explanation as to this non-appearance?
Judge, I've tried the number that's listed on the appointment sheet. Unfortunately, that number is out of service. I could have my investigator try to do some research on some other phone numbers or go to the listed address. Give some additional time, but I can't make any further representations.
Court is going to issue a case and revoke his bond and set a new bond at $25,000 cash. You want to wait on Mr. Reader? You haven't seen the jail yet.
Is it typical that they're not on by now?
They usually are on by now.
I'll wait.
Okay.
Thank you.
This name Tiny Roland mean anything to anybody? Mr. Sullivan, what's your client name, Mr. Chester?
Reader.
What's his first name?
The one.
It's Nirwan, Nijua.
That's on Mr. Pitts, but they were asking about Mr. Meter.
Nirwan.
Next 5 minutes. Thank you.
Mr. Pitts is here. Connect your audio, sir. Mr. Pitts, connect your audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry I was
Recalling case number 19-05-730601, people of the state of Michigan versus D1 Pitts, defendant discharged in count 1, home invasion, versus 3, count 2, assault with a dangerous weapon, count 3, domestic violence.
Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dinah Lynch on behalf of the people, P84589.
And good morning, Judge, Neighborhood Defender Service, my name is Sullivan, PA261, here on behalf of Mr. Pitts. Mr. Pitts, can you give us the correct pronunciation of your first and last name?
Oh, my first name is Naiwan. My last name is Pitts.
What's your pleasure, Mr. So,
Yes, Judge, if we could schedule this for an in-person preliminary exam, I'm available, we could schedule for the 28th.
we could probably do the 26th.
The 26th is fortunately a full day. I'll be available in the afternoon on the 27th, or I'm already in Your Honor's courtroom on the 28th.
At what time?
At noon. I think that's going to be a waiver. I'm actually certain it's going to be a waiver at noon.
Court will continue to plead not guilty. We'll set this matter for preliminary examination on February 28th. Probably gonna go for this. Let's say 11:30.
Very good, Judge.
That's it. That'll be in person, Mr. Pitts, on February 28th at 11:30.
Okay, I had a question if you don't mind, Your Honor.
What's your question, sir?
I came across a lawyer, I want to say yesterday, that I was going to hire. So just kind of let you know I have a representation. You said on the 28th at 11:30.
Make sure your attorney knows and files an appearance. If that's what you want to do.
Okay, now how many days before the hearing is
Needs to
just
do
right
that as soon.
before? I'm sorry, I
Needs to
didn't
do that as soon as possible. Who is your attorney?
David Cripps.
Mr. Cripps, okay. Did you
Yes,
hear
so
that, Mr. Pitts?
I'm sorry, you broke up.
I was talking to Ms. Lynch. Did you hear that?
I did. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so. All right.
I'll pass
Until that
information on
happens.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Whatever the case may be, sir, you, Mr. Pitts, are gonna be here on February 28th at 11:30. Make sure you let Mr. Cripps know about that, okay?
Okay, February 28th, 11:30. That's next Wednesday. Now, so disregard that 27th day that they wrote on my paperwork.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 28th. Okay, gotcha.
All right, have a good day.
Did you specify?
Yeah, the court sets aside the outstanding cases. Make sure you're on time, sir.
Yes, 11:30. I'll be there at 11.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Wayne County Jail, what's your name, sir?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
You're all set, sir. Wayne
Okay,
County
now
Jail.
wait.
Tell me your name again, sir. I can't hear you.
Reader.
Okay, there's Mr. Reader.
Calling case number 2305-954801. Because state of Michigan versus D1 Reader, defendant discharged in count 1, criminal sexual conduct second degree, count 2, controlled substance, delivery of marijuana to a minor, count 3, alcohol, selling, furnishing to a minor. Defendant has a habitual offender second offense notice.
Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brittany Johnson on behalf of the people, P83513.
Good morning, Judge, Neighborhood Defender Service, my name is Sullivan, PA24261. Here on behalf of Juan Reader, who's present in the Wayne County Jail. Mr. Reader, can you state your name for the record?
Reader.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Sullivan?
Judge, requesting an in-person preliminary exam date, paper is free, but not digital discovery, requesting that. And then also thirdly, to be heard on bond.
The court will continue to plea of not guilty and set this matter for preliminary examination, House February 28th at 11 o'clock.
Judge, I'm starting a trial on the 27th, I believe is going to bleed into the 28th. I am open on March 1st, that Friday, though.
I'm not. How about February 26th?
I'm off on the 26th. I could do the 23rd in the afternoon.
This Friday?
Oh, I'm sorry. Today's the 21st. Oh, boy.
That'd be great, though. Can you get your witnesses here then?
I might be able to, Judge. If I can't, I can always reach back out to the court. This should be a quick exam.
Mr. Sullivan, are you available on the 23rd? 1:30?
Yes, Judge, I can be available on the 23rd. I will need discovery immediately.
Okay. Can you work that out for us, Ms. Johnson?
Absolutely, Judge. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Sullivan's name. I'll have it to him in the next hour.
Okay, great. If there's any issues, let me know, guys.
Understood.
February 23rd at 1:30. We continue.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, you want to address mine, didn't you?
Oh.
Yes, please. Go ahead. Mr. Sullivan wants to address mine.
Judge, this is an allegation from 2021. I don't know what the delay in executing a warrant for Mr. Reader's arrest was, but I think just as to Mr. Reed, any threat to the community or risk of Mr. Reader's reappearance in court, Mr. Reader did, as soon as he found out that the police were looking for him, he reached out to the police, scheduled a time to turn himself in. He wants to see this resolved. So I don't think that there's any risk of his non-appearance in court. He's absolutely motivated to
How old
resolve
is this case again?
The allegation stems from 2021. I don't have the exact date. But it's been some years that Mr. Reader has been in the community without there being any allegations of additional criminal activity. And again, of course, Judge, these are just allegations. I would also want the court to know that Mr. Reader is employed. He has 2 jobs. He works at Iroquois Welding as a supplier for Ford. He also works at the Red Roof Inn as a housekeeper. Those jobs he's at risk of losing those jobs, every day that he's continued to be in custody. He's from Detroit, has ties to the community. I don't think there's any risk of his failing to appear for the preliminary exam. The bond is currently $5,000 cash or $50,000, 10%. Mr. Reader tells me that he would be able to post a bond less than $1,000, but not more than that. And so we're asking the court to release Mr. Reader on a personal cognizance bond or on perhaps a $5,000, 10% bond. Just $500, he would be able to post that.
Ms. Johnson?
Judge, the delays in this, I think I can clear that up a little bit. This was a not in custody warrant. It languished for about a year between prosecutors rotating through the office. And then once I had signed it, it looked like it didn't get sworn in for another year. So none of the delays are attributable to the strength of the case. However, I will leave bond in the discretion of the court. There have been no further contacts by this defendant to the family.
All right, the court is going to do a $50,000 personal bond. So you're going to have no contact whatsoever with the complaining witness. And the reason for doing so is because the age of the case for one, and the defendant has been cooperative in that he turned himself in. So I don't find that he's a flight risk. And because he's been in the community so long without any issues and any contact with the complaining witness, I don't find that he's a threat to the community. So of course, that bond at $50,000 personal.
Thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
No.
Thank you, Judge.
You're all set, sir. I need someone from your office who will help us. Mr. Mercer.
What was the name?
Wilfredo Huertas, Huertas. Consciousness bigger, Mr. Washington.
I, the attorney.
Show.
Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
You want a copy of one?
Good morning, Court. I wanted to ask if anyone knew the attorney, the newly appointed attorney on the Grayson King case. Anyone know the name of that attorney?
Grayson King, that's Attorney Smith. We did that already. We set it for exam at 9 o'clock.
Thank you. Is there an attorney, defense attorney for the Humphreys case? I know we set the time. I believe his name was Chambers. I know his first.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Do you know who the defense attorney Chambers, what his first name might be?
Arnie, A-R-N-I-E, I think.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mercer,
Good morning, Your Honor.
good morning. You here for John Turner?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay, we're ready.
Case number 240556561. People of the state of Michigan versus John Turner. Defendant in charge in count one, assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder or by strangulation. Count two, domestic violence, second offense notice.
Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning,
Good
Your
morning,
Honor. Dinah Lynch on behalf of the people, P 84589.
And good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Daniel Mercier, P 72620, representing Mr. John Turner.
And what's your pleasure, counsel?
Your Honor, don't believe, is my client present today?
No, he's not.
I'd ask to waive his attendance and sentence for an exam, Your Honor.
For the way the defendant's presence, continue to plead not guilty and set this matter for preliminary examination. House February 26th at 9:15.
Let me look at my calendar momentarily. That will work for me, Your Honor.
Right, February 26th at 9:15. Bond will be continued.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. So Ms. Schultz and the person who is also this
Good morning, how are you?
You got.
email is shown. Cut the.
Thank you, sir.
That was at birth.
Marquis, where it's sort of, so, Do you have anybody here for our 10 o'clock?
Yes, sir. We just got together on prosecute.
For the prosecutor? Mr. Pitts.
Are there any more PCCs for the day, Your Honor?
Yes, we still have Wilfredo Cortez.
Perfect, thank you.
Ms. Schultz, do you have a number for Ms. Schultz?
I do not, but I can look one up.
See if you can reach out to her for me.
Yes, I will, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. King, let him on.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna be, I'm going to,
Let's turn it down here.
I've called her and just sent her a text message. So hopefully she'll get one of those. And I left a voicemail message for her.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, we got things for.
Prosecution, no defense. So we got the prosecution, no defense. And they're talking to the OIC and his witnesses. Okay. All right.
You got a binder clip over there?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Yes, so I guess. And we told him that. Yeah. So decision? Okay.
Small.
There he is.
How are you, sir?
Been waiting on you, young man.
I hope I'm not late. I had it at 10:15.
Just 3 minutes.
Was it 10 o'clock, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I'm so sorry, Judge.
How'd you do?
I was here in the building trying to look pretty. Didn't work, Judge, didn't work.
Good. Let's have Mr. Hicks come on. So we can start.
Your Honor, there's a motion that was filed in this matter. I do have the judge's copy.
Motion to what?
A motion regarding motion limiting to support the exclusion of mere exam import identification of my client, many witnesses, but previously identified. And Miles Lee from my office is coming out right now. He's going to argue.
All right. Sorry, I'm late. I was spending time reading Mr. Mullins' motion. All right. Everybody's ready to meet.
I could have saved you some time, Mr. Mullins. I'm not gonna try and have anyone else I can find. Aside from Ms. Davis. Or Ms. Sophia, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's all?
Well, I mean, there's an agreement that there'll be no attempt to identify the client in court by the other witnesses who have not identified.
Okay. Is that the case, Mr. Hicks?
Yeah, we're sort of, despite its conflict with federal case law, OZ says I can't do that, so that's how I intend to proceed.
Okay, let's call,
Before we go on the record, I can cut down my witnesses to 2, or if you would stipulate the identity.
I can't.
can identify, you want to agree to the identity of the victim?
Oh, I'm sorry, the identity of the victim. I apologize. I'm not listening, Judge.
Yeah, I know identity is an issue.
All right, we're ready for Mr. Hicks. Call the case 2455437, people of the state of Michigan versus Marquise Deshaun Williams. Defendant is charged in count 1, homicide, murder, second degree, count 2, weapons, firearms, possession by felon, count 3, felony firearm. Defendant has an habitual offender, third offense notice. Appearances for the record.
Good morning, and may it please this honorable court, APA Jonathan Hicks appearing on behalf of the people, P8528.
Good morning, Your Honor. Robert Mullen on behalf of the defendant, Marquise Williams, who's to my left.
Sir.
Marquise Williams.
There's a date and time set for preliminary examination. Are people ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge.
How many witnesses to?
I anticipate 2 witnesses. I might call back up if the best way does not go as I expect, but I anticipate 2 witnesses.
All right. Do you have any preliminary matters you'd like to address before you call witnesses?
Yes, I do. If I could just have 1 minute to pass out some paperwork, make things go a little bit smoother for everyone.
Sure.
Your Honor, I want to make sure which witnesses is going to call. We received a list from the prosecutor of subpoenaed witnesses. I just want to make sure if any of those are here. Subpoenaed witnesses. Are they all here?
All 3 of them. Yes, they're on.
Witnesses.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Hold on.
Commissioner.
Yes.
So Judge, I know you read the charges just a moment ago, at probable cause conference in this matter. I did note that I was going to be seeking a slight amendment to the charges at the exam here today. I did tender the court and Mr. Mullins with amended information detailing those exact charges. And the only change for your purposes, Judge, is I just added a count 4, which is a felony firearm count associated with count 2, felony possession. There was a modification to the habitual offender notice, but for example, this is that. So, also as a preliminary matter, I would move to admit People's Exhibit 1, which is a copy of a report from the Office of Wayne County Medical Examiner, admissible under MCL 766.11B, subparagraph 1D. I would move to admit and publish a portion of the report.
Any objection?
No.
Minute.
Commissioner Prochnow?
Yes, sir.
All right, Judge, may I publish a portion of Exhibit 1?
Yes.
Exhibit 1 is a report from the Office of the Wayne County Medical Examiner, ME case number 23-15878. It's to certify that Omar Reyes, medical doctor, performed a postmortem examination on the body of David Simpson at the Wayne County Medical Examiner's office on December 26, 2023. Dr. Reyes notes that it's his opinion that death was caused by multiple gunshot wounds. The decedent was a 33-year-old black man who was found with multiple gunshot wounds. He was pronounced at 0049 hours on 12/26/2023. Postmortem examination revealed 4 gunshot wounds on the body, 3 to the head and 1 to the neck. There was no soot or gunpowder stippling noted on the skin surrounding any of the wounds. Skipping some verbiage. The gunshot wounds are arbitrarily numbered for ease of description and do not reflect the sequence of firing. You know, it's a penetrating gunshot wound to the right cheek, gunshot wound number 1, an entrance gunshot wound on the right cheek. Skipping some verbiage, the wound track proceeded from this injury through the soft tissue of the right cheek, maxilla, and soft tissue of the neck. The wound track was from front to back and downward when the body is viewed in the standard anatomical position. Skipping some verbiage, you noted a perforating gunshot wound in the head, gunshot wound number 2. There was an entrance gunshot wound on the right occipital scalp. Skipping some verbiage, he notes the wound track was from back to front and right to left, and the body is viewed in the standard anatomical position. Skipping some verbiage, he notes perforating gunshot wound to the head, gunshot wound number 3. There was an entrance gunshot wound to the right occipital scalp. Skipping some verbiage, he notes the wound track was from back to front and left to right, and the body is viewed in the standard anatomical position. And finally, he notes a perforating gunshot wound in the neck, gunshot wound number 4. There was an entrance gunshot wound on the midline of the posterior neck. Skipping some verbiage, he notes the wound track proceeded from this injury through the soft tissue of the neck. There was an exit wound on the left side of the neck. Associated with this exit wound was an braided contusion on the left upper chest. The wound track was from back to front and right to left, and the body is viewed in the standard anatomical position, and the manner of death is homicide. And I believe we have a stipulation that David Simpson is the victim in this matter.
So stipulated for exam purposes only.
For example, the ground.
Court receives that stipulation.
The people would also move to admit People's Exhibit 2, which is a certified stamped copy of the Register of Actions for the state of Michigan versus Marquise Deshaun Williams, number 14-008416-01-FH, admissible under MCL 766.11B, subparagraph 1B.
My question is, she's asking, my question is, what's the purpose of, I know you're out
Sorry. It's to show that he is not permitted to have a firearm. Pursuant to counsel.
The objection.
No objection.
Admitted?
Commissioner Approach, Judge.
Yes.
Oh, no. And I would just note for the record that Exhibit 2 shows that the defendant pleaded guilty to attempt carrying a concealed weapon on September 25th, 2014, and that he had an outstanding fees and costs totaling $918 as of this. All right. And with that, the people are prepared to call their first witness. I know there's some family out in the hallway. The court wants to allow them in first. And after they get in, I'd also move for mutual sequestration with an exception for the officer.
Any objection to the
No
OIC?
objection to a mutual sequestration. I would ask that anyone. No, we were good.
Oh,
Any objection to the OIC remain?
No, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land, if you are a witness or potential witness of ordering the log off this classroom, we can have the families come in. The families? Yes, sir. Sir, does the cap on your head have some? Okay. Good morning, folks. Welcome to 36th District Court. Good morning. I recognize that cases like this can often be very emotional. It's important that everyone remains under control. For whatever reason you find that you can't control yourselves, and I urge you to leave and not cause any disruption. There will be absolutely no disruptions in this courtroom. And I don't really care what side of the coin you fall on. If there are any disruptions, then it will be dealt with appropriately. You may find yourself leaving out a different door than you came in. Yeah. So I shouldn't even know that any of you are here. Okay? All right. All your persons.
Thank you, Judge. With that, people would call Ashley Davis to the stand.
Good morning, ma'am. Please step forward, give your name and spelling to the young lady that's seated over there. Yes, give her your name and spelling. Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness box next to me. Yes, ma'am. Just pull that door open. When you have a seat, there's going to be a microphone to your left. You can actually put the base of that and place it in your lap so you can speak directly into that voice. Okay?
Good morning.
When you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Can you please state your name again for the record when you get a chance?
My name is Ashley Davis.
And are you employed, Ms. Davis?
Yes.
How are you employed?
I'm on a casino dealer.
And I want to take you back to Christmas last year, December 25th. Do you remember that date?
Yeah, I do.
Were you in the area of 16726 Rockdale Street?
I believe so. I'm not sure that's correct address, but I was on that street.
You were on Rockdale Street
Yes,
in the city of Detroit?
yes,
And was that Wayne County, Michigan?
yes.
And what time did you arrive in that area?
If I don't recall correctly, I want to say like 6 p.m.
I'm sorry, did you say 6 p.m.?
Yes,
Okay.
And did you come with anyone when you arrived in that area?
I came with my 3-year-old daughter.
Why did you go to that area?
Let's go and hang with a friend, Candace.
You know Candace's full name?
Candace Yvette Provision.
And was it Candace's house? Whose house were you?
It was a friend of hers. I don't know her full name, but her name is Sophie, from what I do know.
And who was all there when you arrived?
When I arrived, it was Candace, it was Sophie, it was her 5 children. I can't recall their names, but it was like 5 children. I know their ages were 7 and under. I don't know which is which. And I say Candace, it was her cousin. I guess his name is Jimmy. I don't know his full name. His name is Jimmy, from what I do know.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay. And what were you doing over there?
We were having drinks. Sophie was cooking. My daughter was playing with Sophie's children. Just celebrating Christmas, basically.
Were you drinking?
Yes.
What were you drinking?
Vodka.
Anything else?
No.
How much did you have to drink that evening?
Maybe like a fifth and a half. Split between 6 people.
Were you consuming any drugs or mind-altering substances?
No.
Did you come intoxicated that evening? Did you come intoxicated that evening, drinking the Ciroc?
Yes.
And during your time, how long were you at that location?
Honestly, I don't know. I know when I arrived, it was daytime. I think it was about 6 p.m. because I remember I called Kenneth and she told me where she was. When I left, I don't recall the time, and I knew it was dark outside.
Okay, and during your time at that location, aside from the people you previously mentioned, did anyone else arrive that you knew?
People arrived. Yes, people arrived there that I knew. It was a guy that I used to date years ago. Coincidentally, he knows the girl Sophie. She said that they were cousins somehow.
What was that individual's name?
That guy's name is Marcus.
Okay, anybody else?
The that I know. Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, Corey. What about people that you didn't know? Did you meet anyone else that night?
There was people there that I didn't know. Some girl named Taylor. Her boyfriend.
Was there anyone by the name of Dave?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah.
And did you know that individual?
No, sorry about that.
All right. How about Taylor? Could you describe her?
All I know, she was like kind of brown skin and chubby.
Do you remember what she was wearing that night?
It was a dress, it had black and white on it.
And what about her boyfriend? Could you describe him?
I just know he was like caramel, medium height. Slim.
When you say caramel, you use black.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember anything about what he was wearing that night?
I don't recall. I don't know. I don't remember a coat. I remember like, I think the jacket, but I can't recall exactly what it means.
Now, where were you all kind of hanging out at this location?
We were in the kitchen.
So you were inside?
Yes, we were inside in the kitchen. I mentioned earlier, Sophia was cooking, so we were all in the kitchen. All the adults, the children were in the living room. And with the toys, Christmas.
Now, could you just describe the location, to the best of your recollection for the court?
Okay, as far as what?
Just the general layout.
Like the house, you walk in, there's the living room, you go straight back, there's the kitchen. Before you get to the kitchen, there's upstairs, there's the bathroom, and then the children's room, two other rooms. And the basement was on the side.
And do you remember approximately what time Dave got there?
You know, he got there early in the day, so if I got there around 6, I wanna say he got there probably around 6:30, right in between 6:30 and 7. He came shortly after I arrived.
And what was Dave's demeanor while you were there?
His demeanor was like a very silly guy, he seemed cool. I remember his mom too, listening too, and he seemed cool, he was funny, from what I saw.
And what about this Taylor's boyfriend? You mentioned him previously. Did anyone introduce him as anything?
I was introduced to him. Actually, he wasn't introduced to me at all. It was mentioned that he was Sophie's uncle. It was Sophie.
Okay, well, approximately when did he first arrive? Sophie's uncle or the boyfriend?
Honestly, I can't even tell you. I know it was right outside. I don't know actually when he arrived or how long he was there. I just know when he came. He came in the house one time when I saw him. I know the young lady, Taylor, she was in the house, like in and out. Like, you know, she'll come in for a little bit and she'll leave. And then she'll come back. Like she did it like 3 times. But I didn't ever see, I was never introduced to Taylor's boyfriend at all. There was never like, hello, Merry Christmas, this is, you know, this is who that is.
So you said Taylor was in and out.
Yes.
Was that throughout the entire evening? When did she first get?
I don't know exactly what time. I didn't know if it was dark outside, and I would say within the 3 times she came and left, it was 1 hour. Like, you know, it wasn't very spaced out. Like she would leave maybe 20 minutes or so. I don't know what she was doing, but she just came in.
Did you see how she was getting to that location? Or she was going anywhere? And when the boyfriend came in, what happened?
Okay, so he came in, and I guess he had an issue with Dave. I don't really know what happened. I don't know what the issue was, but he came in and I guess Dave had said something to his girlfriend. And he was just saying, you know, she said that she had a boyfriend while he was talking to her. And
Hold on, let me stop you. We need to know who's saying what in this scenario. So you said
the boyfriend, Taylor's boyfriend. That's how I saw him.
Okay. What was he saying specifically to us here?
To the best of my memory, he was saying, you know, because there was a lot of us in the kitchen, so I just, when I was at the radio, cut it on the song, and I just heard yelling, and I saw him, and he was just saying, you know, like, she said she had a boyfriend, like, you know, why are you talking to her? Or she said she had a husband, I think, you know, why are you talking to her, something like that. And then everyone kind of looked around and see like nobody knew exactly who he was talking to. There was a couple of people in the kitchen. And then when Dave was finally back, that's how we found out we were talking to. You know, that's how it became.
You said the boyfriend was yelling?
Yes.
When Dave responded back, was he yelling at that point?
No, I think he was more humble and confused. We were all confused, honestly.
Where was Sophia at this time?
Honestly, I can't place her at that moment. I don't recall if she was in the kitchen or if she was in the living room with the children.
And what was the demeanor of the boyfriend?
The boyfriend seemed like he was pretty upset that, I guess he felt like his girlfriend was disrespected, I guess. He seemed like he was upset.
And did you notice anything about the way he was standing or how his physical posture was at that time?
I remember him having his hand in his pocket. I don't, that's it. Like, I'm not gonna say like I saw you looking anything, but his hand was in his pocket and he was a little upset.
So what did you do?
So what I did was try to find out what was going on because my daughter was with me. So I did just try to figure out what was going on, and come on, come outside. At that moment, I'm just thinking about my child. So I did try to like figure out what was going on, try to de-escalate the situation, which I don't think is the best idea under the circumstances, but that's what I did.
Did you see anyone with a gun while you were inside the house?
No, I did not.
And what was Dave's demeanor during this time?
Dave's demeanor at the time, so when I was trying to de-escalate the situation and, go outside with the boyfriend, I didn't even see Dave. At that moment, so you're asking, the correct question is, I want to ask you correctly. You're asking what was Dave when I was like trying to de-escalate? I didn't see him at that moment.
Just when this confrontation was happening, what was Dave's demeanor to your best your recollection, to your observation? What was Dave's demeanor?
To my observation, Dave was kind of shocked and confused.
And do you know where Taylor was during this time frame?
No, I don't. Not when the argument was going on. No, I don't. I don't know if she was in the kitchen or not.
And where were your kids? Or where was your kids?
My daughter, all the children were in the living room. Like there was toys everywhere, wrapped in the but all the children were in the living room. So my daughter was in the living room as well.
And I'm sorry, you may have said this, but where did the argument take place?
In the kitchen.
And did you eventually exit the house?
Yes, I did.
What happened?
I was just trying to find out what was going on, what the argument was. Come outside, calm down, what's going on, of course, he already said that he felt like the girl was disrespected because I guess they said something to a girlfriend or wife, quote unquote, they were saying. And I was just like kind of confused because I'm like, well, what did they say? Because that's supposed to be like Kenneth's friend, like their significant other or they were dating or whatever. So I was just kind of confused by it.
Okay, who do you remember exiting the house with?
From what I remember, I think it was just me and the boyfriend. At some point, Taylor did, she was out there as well. I can't remember if she like came out when we did or if she came out after. But I know that she was out there.
What about Dave?
Dave, at the moment, he was not outside. He was still in the house. But eventually he did come outside and he was kind of like, at this point, I don't know if he took more drinks or I don't know what changed his demeanor from being humble and confused to being confrontational.
Okay, so he comes out. What happens when he comes out?
He was being a little bit aggressive, like I want to say irate. Is that the right word? I can't even recall what he was saying, but I know he was yelling. He was yelling, and that's what I remember.
And what about the boyfriend? What was he doing at that time?
At that time, the boyfriend was he was calm at that moment until Dave came outside because, like I said, I was trying to de-escalate the situation. And at that time, he was like, he was letting me know outside, like, what I guess they said she was nice in her dress or whatever. And then while he was like trying to talk to me about what was going on, because I'm like, my daughter's inside, calm down, that's when Dave came outside, like yelling or whatever. So that's what I don't know if you actually something different.
Do you recall anything that the boyfriend said back to Dave?
He just said, you're in the wrong neighborhood, you don't know, basically.
And what happened next?
At that point, when Dave started to yell and come outside, he was going to his vehicle. That's when I did see what.
And where did you see that one?
It was pulled out of the pocket because I made sure his hand was in his pocket, but I didn't see it done. I didn't see it done there or anything. But once we were outside, Dave came outside and was yelling, and that's when I did see it. And it was pulled from the pocket that the hand was in.
Whose pocket?
The boyfriend.
And what did you do after seeing the weapon?
I took out running. My goal was to try to get my daughter because she was still in the living room.
And can you describe that weapon? Was it like a long rifle? Was it a short?
It was handheld, I don't know, it was like a pistol.
Did it look like a revolver or something else?
I don't really know. Sorry.
And what happened next after you started running?
As I took off running, I heard a shot.
So how many shots did you hear?
I can't tell you exactly how many, but it was more than two. I can't really guess how many, but I know that as soon as I started running, I took off running and I heard a shot.
And if you remember, you said more than two. Did they happen back to back in quick succession? Was there
It
any?
seemed like it did, yeah. It seemed like it was pretty fast.
At any point, did you ever see Dave with a gun?
No,
At any point, did you see Dave with any sort of weapon?
no,
Did you ever see Dave with anything that resembled a weapon?
no.
And the last time you saw Dave before you took off running, what did it appear to you that he was doing?
Fighting,
Where was he positioned?
he was standing, at his vehicle, at the driving field.
And what did it look like he was doing at drivers?
Arguing. It didn't seem like he was attempting to leave because it wasn't been arguing, so it seemed like he was arguing.
And at that time, how close was Dave to the boyfriend?
They weren't close, so the distance from the driveway to the front of the house, so I don't really know how to estimate the distance.
Like the length of a car, a sedan?
Like, from where I'm sitting, he was probably where that door is. Like, right behind you, like, so I don't know how you want to estimate that.
You're talking about this door right here?
Yes, that one right there, so about that far away. Cause you have to think it was a vehicle, you know, he was on the other side of the vehicle.
And just for the record, I don't know if Mr. Mullins would agree with me, that this is probably about 8 to 10 feet.
Okay.
Is that fair?
From where she's at,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say
That's more like 10 to 12.
10 to 12.
at least maybe 15 or, I mean. 10.
We'll split the day 13.
Thank you very much.
13 feet works for me. Thank you, Josh. And did you ever see Dave strike the boyfriend?
No,
Did you ever see Dave strike anyone that night?
no,
Did you see Dave push the boyfriend?
no,
Did you see Dave push anyone that night?
no,
Did you ever see Dave and the boyfriend get into any sort of physical confrontation?
no,
What about Dave and anyone else? Did you see Dave get into a physical altercation with anyone?
no,
Did you at any point see the boyfriend get into a vehicle?
so,
Did you ever see the boyfriend get into a vehicle?
yeah.
Could you describe that vehicle?
Well, honestly, I didn't like per se see him get in it, so no, I didn't see him get in it, but I did see a vehicle start to leave and, you know, he wasn't outside, so.
So you saw him 1 minute, and then the
And
vehicle.
then the next I see a vehicle leaving and, he was there, so I'm just saying, I didn't actually see him get in the vehicle, you know what I mean?
Could you describe that vehicle?
It was a truck, it was like,
And did you ever see Taylor get in any vehicles?
you know, I didn't see who got in there, I just know that the vehicle started to reverse. And then I took the opportunity to run and grab my child.
And what did you do after hearing the gunshots?
I ran. Oh, after hearing it, I was hiding inside of my home. So like while I was running to try to like, you know, get away from the shots, then my initial goal was to run and grab my child, but I heard the shots before I could even, you know, towards the house. So I just hid until I saw the vehicle move. And I just took the opportunity to run and grab my child.
And then what did you do?
I left.
I have no further questions.
Cross examine.
Ms. Davis,
Yes,
you went over to Sophie's house because you were friends with Candace.
correct.
And isn't it true that you had probably met Candace on 2 different occasions?
Candace?
I'm sorry, Sophie.
Yes,
I'm gonna backtrack. Do you recall on the 16th of January giving an interview with the Detroit Police Department homicide unit?
on the 16th of January, I
16th of January.
been given an interview, yes, I remember, I can't remember the exact date.
Well, you recall interviewing with the Detroit Police Department in your living room of your house,
Yes,
and there were 2 detectives present,
yes,
and they asked you a bunch of questions regarding the issues that we're here with today.
yes,
And were you truthful and honest when you gave your answer?
yes,
Okay. So you had indicated a couple times you had met Sophie before,
3,
and you thought it was a good spot, and she was cool, and you wanted to bring your kids over.
I thought it was cool, because she has, like I said, 5 children, 7 and under, so yes, I thought it was okay.
And so you were over there celebrating Christmas,
Yes,
and you said with your 7-year-old daughter or your 3-year-old daughter?
my 3-year-old,
And you got there at 6 o'clock,
approximately.
and how many people did you know there?
I knew Candace, so I would just say I knew 2, 3, and 2.
So was Christmas the first time you met Dave Simpson?
Yes,
Okay. And was Dave drinking?
yes,
Was Dave doing drugs?
yes,
He was doing cocaine that night, correct?
yes,
And he was highly intoxicated.
you can say that, yes,
And you were pretty intoxicated.
I was intoxicated.
And Candace dated Dave Simpson.
Correct,
And so you're there, and while you're there, you testified that everyone was in the kitchen
correct,
because Sophie was cooking.
correct,
And this is where everyone was when there became an altercation between Taylor's boyfriend and Dave.
correct,
And you had indicated you were at the music at that time.
correct.
How many people were in that kitchen?
I can't really recall who was all in there at the moment, you know, I can say, like I stated, who was out there and who arrived later. Who was in the kitchen at that moment, I can't really say.
Can you give me an approximate how many people?
I would say at least like 4, at least 4 to 5.
How big is that kitchen?
There's nothing big.
Right? And so eventually there became a confrontation or an argument between Taylor's boyfriend and Dave.
Correct.
Could you hear what they were arguing about?
About the boyfriend felt like his girlfriend called her girlfriend, with disrespect.
And you heard this in the kitchen.
Yes.
At that time, was there any physical confrontation?
No.
Did you, besides the boyfriend, talking about, disrespecting his girlfriend, did you hear the boyfriend say anything else?
No.
And at some point, Sophia, Lindsay starts talking with Dave.
If that's true, I don't recall it.
When you walked out of the house during the confrontation?
When I walked out of the house, it was to de-escalate the conversation, so when I walked out, the boyfriend walked out with me. But Dave was still left in the home.
So you don't know what Dave was talking about, And by this time, wasn't Dave getting loud?
Yeah, from the time he walked out to the time he walked to his car, yeah, he was loud the whole time.
And the boyfriend wasn't saying anything at that point.
Correct, he was calm, and he was, trying to let me know what was going on, because I was confused, and I just wanted to spend time with my daughter.
And the boyfriend wasn't making any threats to
No,
Dave at all.
he just said, you don't know me, you're lying.
Okay, and isn't it true that the boyfriend went to his car? She sat in his car.
Who did?
The boyfriend did. He
Sat
sat
in his car?
Yes. And you talked to him while he was sitting in his car.
I can't recall. I just remember seeing the gun and sitting up lying.
Well, when you say you can't recall, can you not recall because you were intoxicated that night?
That's possibly true.
And so there might be many things that you don't recall based on your intoxication at that time.
Can you even say so?
Well, I'm asking you.
Honestly, when people are intoxicated, things might be a blur.
I'm asking about you specifically. If you're intoxicated, can things be a blur?
If you want me to say yes, I'll say yes.
I want you to give an honest and truthful answer.
Well, if I don't remember speaking to the boyfriend in the vehicle, then I would say yes.
Okay, but you were trying to de-escalate,
Yes.
right? And he had removed himself.
He was trying to, yes.
Right, and Dave came out of the house
Yes.
and was angry
Yes.
and escalated things
Yes.
and started to engage the
In an
boyfriend
argument, yes.
in an argument.
Yes.
And there were words said.
Yes.
And do you recall any of the words that Dave said?
I do not recall, I just remember him being loud.
Did you,
Yeah.
do you recall Dave ever saying, I'm gonna shoot this bitch up?
Honestly, I don't recall that part.
Did you ever hear Dave talk about shooting up anything?
I can't recall. I just know he was yelling.
Okay, and he wasn't happy,
He wasn't happy.
and he was angry.
Yes.
All right, and at that time, you had indicated that Dave went over to his car.
Yes.
Did you see what Dave was doing in his car?
I could not see because he was on the, from where, me and the boyfriend and Taylor were standing, he was on the opposite side of the vehicle, which is the driver's side. And the
Okay.
driver's door, which is on the other side, so no, we couldn't see what he was doing. But it didn't seem like he was leaving.
Well, he wasn't leaving.
Yeah.
It looked like he was getting something from his car.
I can't say that, but I will say he was yelling.
All right, and was it dark out?
Yes, it was.
Could you see well? Was there good lighting?
Not really, the push light. And then that's a dark neighborhood.
Okay, now, you had indicated at some point, Taylor's boyfriend pulled out a gun.
Yes.
And when he pulled out a gun, you went running.
Yes.
So you didn't see Taylor's boyfriend fire his gun.
No, I did not.
And you hadn't seen a gun out prior
I have not.
to when he was outside.
Yes.
Do you know where anyone was standing while you were outside with it? And let me backtrack. Ma'am, let me backtrack. Question. You had indicated that, Mr. Simpson was standing near the door of his van.
Mr. Simpson is Dave, right?
Dave Simpson.
Yeah.
And where was that van parked?
In the driveway of Sophie's house.
Okay, and where was Taylor's boyfriend car parked, if you know?
Well, I would say where the white truck was parked on the grass.
Okay, and you had described that was about 13 feet.
From where they were.
Sure. And there was a vehicle, a van between Dave and Taylor's boyfriend.
There was a van, yes.
Okay. And that obstructed what you were able to see.
Yes.
Now, Marcus Byers,
Mhm.
he was there, right?
Yes.
And you know Marcus Byers.
Yes.
Do you think Marcus Byers is an honest and truthful person?
Yes.
Objection, Judge. I don't know why she could opine as to the other individuals on this thing.
Saying, well, she can't vouch for someone else's harassment.
Well, Your Honor, can I get a foundation?
She can't testify as to someone else's harassment.
What if she knows the person, has a relationship with them, where she can kind of give an opinion based on experience? I didn't lay a foundation, Your Honor.
Character evidence,
Pardon me?
you're looking for character evidence. She's going to provide character evidence.
How do you know Mr. Byers?
I dated him.
Did you spend a lot of time with Mr. Byers?
I was in a relationship 3 years. I haven't saw him in a while. We've been broke up for at least 5.
All right. Which side of the car was Dave on? Which side of his car was he on?
The driver's side.
And isn't it true that that night you trusted Mr. Byers with your child when you went outside to de-escalate the situation?
No,
Objection, Judge. This is the same thing we were just going down. It's just individuals' trustworthiness is not something that can be brought up in this.
Rules testify as to her.
Now, did you tell the investigator when you were being interviewed that you were concerned about your daughter?
Yeah.
And that's why you went out to try to de-escalate things.
Correct.
And you left your child under the care of Mr. Byers in that house.
That is incorrect because I said originally my friend there, Kenneth.
So your testimony today is that you didn't leave Mr. Byers watching your daughter.
No, it was a bunch of people in the house where Kenneth was, which is a friend that I've known for many years. So she was.
Wasn't Candace drunk that night?
Okay, we were drinking.
Well, didn't you tell the, isn't it true that you told the investigator when you were being interviewed that Candace was pretty drunk that night?
Yes.
Like very drunk?
She was drunk. I can't say how drunk, she was drunk.
Well, didn't she come back to your house?
Yes.
After that incident?
Yes.
And
she was drunk.
And she didn't get up till, according to your testimony, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon that day.
I can't recall what time she left. I never said the time she woke up. I have no clue.
And that she had very little memory that night of what happened.
Okay.
I'm asking you, do you recall telling the investigator that?
I recall saying that she was intoxicated. I can't say yes, she had very little memory.
Well, doesn't Candace drink quite a bit?
She drinks. A lot of people drink.
I get that, but I'm specifically
I
asking.
can't tell you how much she drinks because I can only tell you what she does when I see when she's with me.
And so your testimony would be
Is that
that
on Christmas that she was drunk? When we were all drinking, that's my testimony.
would you consider yourself drunk on Christmas?
I consider myself to be intoxicated, drunk, if you want me to say
Well,
that's fine, yes.
Well, how would you define the difference between intoxicated and drunk?
I guess they're the same thing. You know, if you-
At some point during your interview, you recall talking about trying to piece things together, what happened that night on social media.
No, I never said that.
You never said that you went on social media to try to piece things together.
No, I never said that I went on social media to try to piece anything together.
I'm explaining. At the time that Taylor's boyfriend pulled out the gun, you didn't hear him make any threats at all to date.
No.
And throughout the night, while he was outside, backtrack that, when he went outside and you were to calm him down and speak to Taylor's boyfriend, he didn't make any threats towards Dave during that time period.
No.
What was the question?
Can you redirect? Thank you, man. You may step down.
Thank you.
With that, the people call Sophia Lindsay to the stand.
Good morning, ma'am. Please step forward. Give your name and the spelling of your name to the young lady that's seated over there.
Sophia, S-O-P-H-I.
You can walk up to her.
Oh. S-O-H-I-A.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Please have a seat in this box right next to me. There's going to be a microphone to your left once you sit down. Pick the base of that up, place it in your lap, and speak directly into that person. Okay? You may begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name again for the record?
Yes,
Yes, Sophia, Lindsay.
And are you employed, Miss Lindsay?
No, not at the time.
And are you familiar with 16726 Rockdale Street?
Yes, sir.
Is that in the city of Detroit?
Yes,
And is that Wayne County, Michigan?
yes,
What's located at that address?
my mom.
And do you know someone by the name of Taylor Blakes?
Yes,
Who is that?
it's my children.
And back in Christmas of 2023, was she in a relationship with anyone that you know
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it.
of? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I guess she was in a relationship with someone. Yeah.
And
Yeah, what, yes,
what did she refer to that individual as?
she didn't ever say, she just called me Luke.
So you never heard that individual's name?
No,
Do you recall providing a statement to the Detroit Police in this matter?
I'm sorry, so what,
Do you recall providing several statements to the Detroit Police Department in this matter?
telling the name,
Yes.
no, I'm asking you, tell what you're asking.
So just answer that question. Do you recall providing statements to the Detroit Police Department?
Yes, I do, yes,
Okay. You gave several statements to different police officers, is that fair to say?
yes,
And do you recall ever telling them names you believed her boyfriend went by?
I don't really remember, I don't think so. If I did, I don't really remember, but I don't really remember.
Give me just one moment. I'm gonna mark a video as People's Exhibit 4 for identification and put it up on the screen, see if the witness can identify it. Just for defense's benefit, this file is titled Sophia Lindsay Interview 2 in Discovery. Hey, Ms. Lindsay, can you see the screen up there?
Yeah.
And do you recognize that individual that's depicted on the screen?
Yeah.
Who is that? And does that appear to be you during one of your interviews with the Detroit Police Department?
That's after, the first time we had spoken. Whenever I believe they showed me this one. And that's when I was able to say, if, or one of the real friends that she was trying to. That's what they asked me, so yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
That day, but-
We're getting narrative here. I don't think it's an answer to a question.
Oh, I mean, I was just answering, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Just one. I'm sorry, I'll move on to another question for a minute because my computer is going a little bit slow here. But just to be clear, your testimony is that you don't recall providing any names for the boyfriend of Miss Blakes.
Not, like, directly, no, but yes, I did. I did, directly.
You said, yes, I did, but not directly.
Right,
Can you
like,
explain what that means?
after a while, they said they were asking me, they were saying, and I was like, yeah, I think that is probably, that is his name.
And what was
So,
that?
yes, so yes, if you want to say that, then yes, I do.
Okay, then what do you believe his name to be?
I think his name is, that's all I know about it, I don't
Did you say Keith's?
Keith,
Okay.
Reese, yeah, Keith, that's all I know.
And have you met that individual before?
I hope it's home like over the phone, listening to Taylor talk to him. I seen him once before, but never like, nothing like.
Did,
I know him, Taylor.
when you say before, did you see him after Christmas?
Yes, I did.
And you see that individual in court here today?
Yes,
Where is he seated?
right,
Could you just describe where he's seated? I'm sorry.
right here, table.
And could you describe something that he's wearing? I'd ask the record to reflect the identification of the defendant. So I want to take you back to Christmas, December 25th of 2023. You recall that night?
Yes.
And what was going on that night?
I woke up, started dinner, we did Christmas. My sister Candace was there. I woke her up, told her that she had to go with me and kids, get the food together and get prepared to leave, go out with the family. I continued to get my food started, get my day started. Candace was there the day before, she said tonight, she didn't want to go home. She didn't want to go out there to see, her face, she had a little conversation with her, she was wrong.
Okay.
She said tonight, I woke up, got all that together, she said when her take my son to pick her up, in about 2 hours. So I said, okay, that's fine, I had to give me enough time, to get us some kids.
Okay, what time was this?
It was early, like,
So still daylight out?
yeah, it was morning time.
Morning time? Okay.
Yeah, it was morning time, but, me and Keith went down the street to my friend. Her gifts and stuff, they get off her, but she and my cousin had dropped the gift off the day before, that they had all the kids, so when I got back in, she was still in on the couch seat. By the time I got the kids clothes on, she got up, said I was coming to get her, but, the break ended up putting up my kids, anyways, the young lady, I think, Ash.
Okay, so you said Ashley pulled up?
Yes, Ashley pulled up.
And that was Candace's friend?
Yes,
Okay.
that's how I met her.
And around what time was that?
It was still early. I'm not really sure, but I know it was still early.
Okay. Did you eventually leave the house?
Yes. And then when we came back up, Candace, they left. They was on for a while. We left, came back.
Okay, what time did you get back?
I don't know, it was kind of late, it was dark, I remember that.
It was dark out?
Yeah, Candace,
Okay.
yeah.
Was Candace there when you got?
No, she got pulled up.
Okay, how long after you got back did Candace get?
I got there maybe 30, 40 minutes. Maybe.
Okay, and was Ashley with her at that time?
Yeah, they were together. They were intoxicated, and then also she needed to stay in my house with her face. So she didn't want to go. Her granny's here, she still had me home, such and such. I was like, girl, will you ever get sober? She said, something else.
Let's have some questions.
Did anyone else arrive to your house?
After that, that was like, like a while later, Taylor pulled up.
Okay, who's there?
Taylor was my kid.
Okay.
She pulled up, she came in, she's like, girl, you went down with the dressing and stuff, and I'm like, no. It was still, she stepped out back, and she was on a while, she was on a while. By the time then, some of the kids and friends pulled up. They were outside, I remember that. One of them asked me, they used the bathroom, because they was like, be on the side of my house, my side door was open, I thought, don't be on the side of my house.
Let me stop you there. So you said Candace and her friends pulled up and they were outside. Were they ever inside the house?
Yes, they came, her Candace and Ashley was in the house earlier that morning when she first got her. But that's how I didn't recognize her, because she had to go out and get it.
Okay, what about Candace's friends?
Yeah, when they pulled back up,
they did come in the house because they introduced themselves after they put their beer inside of of my refrigerator.
Do you remember who these friends were?
Not all girls, no, I can't just tell you who they are, never, I just want to.
Approximately how many people were
It was only two other guys, it was my friend that was there,
there? Okay, who's your friend?
the whole time I was friend to Steve, out.
Just specify your own knowledge, I don't.
No,
I couldn't hear the answer.
Steve.
Steve?
The whole time I'm thinking his name is Steve, but I find out it's something else, I was Steve. But I would be calling him Steve the whole time, I met him also from Kenneth.
Okay,
So, yes.
do you remember approximately what time this was?
Probably like after 8 something, after time.
Okay. And you said Taylor Blake's was in and out, was she with anyone?
The first time she came, she wasn't, and the second time she came, she wasn't. The third time, I don't even know, because I never went outside. I was in there getting, like, cleaning up, getting myself together, so I was getting ready to go to a Christmas party. So I wasn't really, I never went to her, she did have a party. But I know the first couple times she actually didn't have it.
What kind of car was it that she rode?
She opened a white car.
A white, what kind of a car?
Truck.
Big
I'm
truck?
not sure what mine is.
Okay. And so you're testimony that she never came into your house with anyone?
No, she never brought anyone in the home.
Okay. Were you ever outside or were you inside?
No, I was back and forth, kind of like taking, going to Christmas, grabbing away trash. So yeah, I was back and forth like in the house, but I'm talking to nobody, like they were all out.
Okay. And that last time you mentioned that Miss Blake's came, you said everyone was outside at that time?
A lot of people, yeah, they were, but some of the people were, I believe someone was, I think someone was sitting on my porch. My friend that I was calling Steve, he never went back outside. They said he went to the store, and I didn't even know, I never know he went to the store. He was gonna try to make that down.
So I'm just asking about that last
So
time,
after that, no, I don't.
that last time when Miss Blake's was there, the best of your recollection, where was it?
Everyone was standing in like my living room on their way out, because I asked everyone to leave.
Okay. And did you hear anything?
No, when they got outside, I heard like ocean, like arguing, but not arguing, but it didn't seem nothing harmful.
Okay. So what do you mean by a commotion? It
It's
sounded
not a
like,
big commotion, it was just like an argument, not even really an argument, like, hey, don't be disrespectful. Something else. And outside, I don't really think, I just can't really pinpoint and tell you exactly what words, but I don't know.
did you hear anything else aside from just what you described as commotion?
Oh, afterwards, I went outside, like, I need to leave, Christmas, find something to do. Shut my door, I heard a gunshot, but it sounded like it was far away, it didn't sound like it was, like, really, oh.
Did you hear, did you hear one gunshot or multiple?
Yeah, I heard one gunshot, I did, but I had my, I guess when I was going to get ready to go upstairs, I go, make it out of the upstairs, I really don't hear anything. Not gonna sound like close.
Okay, did you look outside after hearing that gunshot?
That's whenever I just looked out and seen the police, they were at the door.
And did you personally ever see anyone with a weapon that night?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you ever see anyone with anything that even resembled a weapon that night?
Not at all. No.
I'm sorry, you have to wait for me to finish the question before you answer.
Sorry.
Usually, no problem. Okay. After Christmas, you said you saw Miss Blake's and her boyfriend. Do you remember when that happened?
Yeah, I think the day after the day, a couple days after. It wasn't like too far away. I don't think it was the day after, I think it was the day after that.
Okay, and where did you see them?
At my home.
And you know why they came over?
Yeah, they was coming to check on me and just, you know, they was just like, hey, we apologize for all our years. Like, they never said, you know, just apologize. And that was it.
I'm sorry, who apologized?
Like, people that was calling me and, I said, I apologize. My favorite thing, and like, we apologize for how we okay. I think we just checking, like, Candace, when she called and apologized. Also, everybody was,
What about the individual that you identified previously? What specifically did he say to you?
he said, I apologize for what happened at the house or whatever. It should have never happened this way. That was it. Like, you know, people was around me, that was it. That's all he said.
Did he say what he meant by what happened?
No.
Okay, what did you take that to mean?
Shoot, Candace called and said the same thing. I just thought that they was calling because it's my home. They know I am. They know I'm not a hurt to nobody. They just calling to check on me about it. I called them, came by after that, checked and apologized and called. And I was just on the phone with her yesterday, so everybody did. So I didn't take it as no type of, oh, I'm coming to like arrest them or anything like that. No, I didn't. No.
And whatever it was, did this individual that you identified in court, the boyfriend, did he say why whatever it was happened?
No, it was just like people should learn, no, he didn't say nothing about like that. He just started talking about like, you know, how people can't handle their drinking and I was just telling him like, that's it, this is my last time having people over trying to get along with people, and that was it. He just called. And they, I gave him, they brought, baked food, and I ate the chicken and started laughing.
Do you, in one of your statements to the Detroit Police Department, do you recall saying the defendant said I should have taken it somewhere else?
Yeah, taking it, they should have taken it somewhere else, yes.
So you do recall the defendant saying that?
Yeah, I remember people saying like they should have took that somewhere else, wherever, whatever happened. Like we all said, like we should have, that should have been taken somewhere else, no one should have done it. To nobody.
And after the incident on Christmas, did you attempt to get in touch with Miss Blake's?
Yeah, we spoke to each other, but I didn't.
Did you try calling her?
No, I didn't. I don't have her phone number before, all on Messenger.
Do you recall telling the Detroit Police Department that you tried calling?
Yeah, her number I called, that was the day after, the incident. Yes, I did. I tried to call her.
And what happened when you tried to call
The number was off.
her? What do you mean the number was off?
Her phone, I guess maybe she could take the phone to the phone, she said the number did not reach.
Do you recall telling the Detroit Police Department that she changed her phone?
Yes, she changed the phone. It just say the number that you ever reached and whatever, you know, not in place.
And you've had at least 3 meetings with the Detroit Police Department regarding this incident?
Yeah, I changed that. Oh.
And were you always truthful with the police in this matter?
The first time it was like it was happening so fast and it was so early and I was out so late, like I really didn't get a chance to tell them like a lot of things where they didn't like ask me a whole bunch of stuff for me to be able to answer. So yes, it was like the time I got a chance to speak with them. And the last time I was more like, you know, there I was focused, like, you know, talking to them.
It was more than just being unfocused, right? You told them you were asleep at the time?
No, I said I was getting ready to go and I was going to sleep, yes.
And you said there was no one else at your
No,
location?
I told them that I did my friend was upstairs, because I did, that's how they did.
Aside from the friend that was upstairs, you denied that there was anyone else at the house?
Yeah, because there was no one else in the house.
But you didn't mention Candace or Ashley?
No, I did not.
And you're now testifying today that you did not claim that you were awoken by police officers banging you.
No, I was laying there, like, I was halfway, I was on my way to sleep, I was like, get ready to go to sleep. I didn't have no clothes on, I was sleeping in the truck, I didn't have any clothes on my t-shirt.
And you initially didn't tell the police that Miss Blake's was ever at that location?
Yes, I did that. She told them also whenever she pulled up, she pulled back up to get my kids. They gave her my kids. She told them that she was there.
One time when you met with the Detroit Police Department, they showed you some photographs,
Not the first time, the second time.
just one of the times.
Oh, yes.
And what did they tell you before they showed you those?
They said if you know this person, slide it this way, if you don't know the person, slide it this way.
Did they tell you that you had to make a selection?
Like, which means to say, pick out.
Right, did they tell you had to pick one of these photographs?
Oh, no. It was like, it was like out of the group, one of the photographs that is in your, is the person, so. She was fine.
Permission to approach, Judge?
Yes.
So I just handed you what I previously marked as People's Exhibit 3. If you could flip through that, then when you're flipping through it, you can look up.
Yes, sir.
So, what is that understanding?
This was the, like where they asked me the pictures, like the person out of the envelope.
And does that appear to be a fair and accurate copy of what the Detroit Police Department gave you?
Yeah, I don't really remember all people, but I don't know, so I wouldn't just think one, but yes, it is accurate. I remember this last one. So yeah, I remember this accurate right.
And you have no reason to dispute that it is a fair and accurate copy of what you were shown? Okay. At this time, I'd move to admit People's Exhibit 3. Any objection?
Well, Your Honor, I'd like to be right here to witness on that before it gets in.
Go ahead.
But do it right now.
Yes.
Ma'am, that document that you have in your hand, you recognize it?
Yes.
What is it? Where is that document from?
Is it, well, this was, pictures of.
No, I'm asking you if you can recognize it from your memory.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
But this right here. Oh, that's the date.
No, I'm asking you from your memory, not to look at the document. I'm asking you if you remember that document.
I don't remember this document, but I do remember the pictures.
Okay, but the document in front of you,
No, I don't.
do you remember being shown that document and going through that?
No, I don't. I just remember the pictures. I just remember like they sent someone else in with the folders of the pictures.
What interview was it that you remember that document from? Well, you don't remember the document.
No, I remember the pictures for sure.
What interview was it that you remember?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe it might have been.
Have you been shown?
I'm not really for sure.
Have you been shown pictures on other occasions by the Detroit Police Department?
No, that was the first time we ever showed all the pictures.
I'm gonna object, you don't remember the document.
What is the document that you're referring to?
It's the eyewitness identification form sheet. I'd like some opportunity to ask some further questions. So I want to direct you to that first page that we've been talking about. The very bottom, is that your signature?
Yeah, this is my signature.
And is that your handwriting of that where it says I, Sophia Lindsay? And what about that next line up? Is that your handwriting or is that somebody else's?
I do remember saying this right here, but I don't remember actually writing it down, but I do remember signing some paper like this, but I don't remember like all of this signature. I remember saying this, like something like this, but I don't like this. Like I remember, I wrote this down, but I do remember saying this because it was true. And I don't remember the form, but here that's how I was like, you know, this is what I am.
But that is your signature on the bottom of this form.
Yes, but this is my cover.
I didn't hear you.
At the top, this is my copy. Oh, this copy, I don't think I remember the picture, yeah, I do remember the picture. I do.
Judge, I would argue it goes to weight on admissibility. I think it's admissible, but obviously whether this is the exact form she was showing, that's a question of fact, but her signature is at the bottom of the document. I think it's admissible.
But I just don't.
That's your signature, and you remember signing.
Yeah, I remember signing something like this. I do, but I don't remember.
Court will admit the same.
Thank you, Judge. Commissioner approach.
Yes.
Okay, why don't we start with the first page of the document? You said you reviewed that handwritten note that said, he told me out of his own mouth. Do you remember saying that? He told me out of his own mouth?
What document is he showing her right there?
I think it was exhibit
Oh,
3.
exhibit 3, I just want to make sure. Okay.
So, I want to leader, my kids, all my. I don't sound like
Do you remember making that statement?
no, I remember saying, I do remember him, like not remember him, but just by her being around me and her talking to him on the phone. That's how I just know, like, know him.
Okay.
I don't know him personally, so this right here, what do anything got to do with he is how tall I do?
So you do not remember saying, she
No.
always calls him Marquise, yes or no?
Yeah, her boot thing. That's, I did say that, her boot thing, and I remember from her talking to him on the phone, you know, that's the first time I ever seen him was that day. The rest of this right here, about some kids, my kids, what the kids got to do?
If you don't remember, you don't remember.
I don't
Just ask if you remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. If you could turn to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th page of the document.
Say the what page?
5th page, the one that has some writing on the bottom.
That's the fourth. Yes, my name, my signature, January 4th, 2024. 12:33 p.m.
So you said that is your signature on
Yes,
that
it
page?
is.
And that was the date that you signed this document? If you don't remember, you don't remember. That's fine.
I don't remember that. Yes, I do. Actually, it's right here. This is my signature. This is my signature. I at the bottom. All of this kid, awesome kid. I don't even remember.
We're not talking about that right now. He referred you to a different.
Oh, yeah, that picture, yes.
And I have no further questions.
That's number 4.
Cross examine.
I said we will attempt to. Ma'am, I'm gonna ask you a couple questions.
Yes.
And I know that you have given state, is it true that you talked about this on numerous times, the Detroit Police Department? And would also be true, there's a lot going on that night when there was all those people over at your house on Christmas night.
Well, I would say a lot going on, like the people that were there, they wasn't disrespectful or rude, so no, it was not a lot going on.
All right, now, do you recall an individual named Dave Simpson being at your house?
No, I don't remember. I like if I know them by face, maybe, but not by name, no, I don't know.
How about Candace Dickerson? You know
In my
her?
house for 3 days.
Okay, and was she hanging out with the gentleman when she was there?
Not like while she was there, just after like that day on Christmas.
So on Christmas Day,
Yes.
could you describe that guy?
Yeah, I remember he was tall.
I don't wanna say black or you don't remember, like, to be honest. I remember it was a tall guy, but I don't just like remember, but you can tell you like, oh yeah, I know what he looks like, no, that's not.
All right, was the individual that you're referring to hanging out with Candace, was he drinking, partying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you recall whether or not he was intoxicated while he was at your house?
Yes, but he had walked in and asked where they're not like, hold on, you know, don't just walk in. Whoever you came here with, get them, get your beer. I passed him the beer, you know, can around that.
And when this individual, who was Candace's friend, did he at some time have a confrontation inside your house in the kitchen or with an individual, with someone else?
It wasn't in the kitchen.
How about the living room?
Like in the, kind of like in the hallway, too. Yeah.
Okay, and do you recall whether or not this individual had words exchanged with another gentleman that was there?
I wasn't, it wasn't a guy that had words, but it really wasn't no words, so.
Well, did he have a conversation, this individual I'm referring to as Candace's boyfriend or the man she was with?
Okay.
All right, did he have words with Taylor Blaze?
Yes, sir.
And did they have a situation, a discussion?
Yeah, but it kind of like, blew off, like it was.
All right, but at some time, did an individual related to Taylor have a confrontation with that individual?
Yeah, kind of like, you know, don't be disrespectful.
At any time, did you hear the individual that was with Candace making any threats towards anyone in your house?
It was like as they were going outside, because I asked everybody to leave back around, like everybody's not so.
But did you hear any of those threats?
Kind of, I just heard like,
I'm sorry?
I think he said something like,
Did you ever hear,
or something like
did you ever hear the individual that was with Taylor threaten to shoot up the house? Specifically?
that was with Taylor.
No?
I didn't hear neither one of them say they were gonna shoot the house. Like,
Did you ever hear anyone at your house?
no, say they was gonna shoot the house.
And you indicated that you didn't see any altercation outside.
I cannot just pinpoint and say, well, everybody was intoxicated. They were standing in the street. I cannot just pinpoint to say that. Only thing I remember seeing is I was telling Taylor that I asked everybody else to leave, like what's the little argument. Like, you know, leave. I said, auntie, you don't leave yet, you know what I'm saying? Y'all family, you're opening up the rest of the gifts with the kids. And that was it, and then they went, I don't know about my business, I took my clothes off.
So you never saw Taylor leave?
No, last time I thought she had left because she was supposed to be going to get my mother.
And you never witnessed any confrontation outside the house?
No, only thing I seen was inside the house, like right at the porch, and I saw my girl, so everybody get the hell on, it's Christmas.
And you didn't see any weapons that night either?
No, no one had no weapons in there, it was a nice little gathering, it was no harm, but nobody, see? It was no harm. It was no harm, no harm. Like, I never seen nobody with a weapon. Like, none of that. Never seen anyone.
Do you know the reason why Candace wanted to hide her face earlier?
It was,
The reason that Candace wanted to hide her face earlier?
oh, you talking about when she was at my home?
Right.
Yes, because she got drunk, like a couple of days before or whatever, it probably been a week. Got into a conversation with somebody scratched her in her face or hit her in the eye, something, she had a black eye, or some makeup. She wanted to go home, she wanted her mother to see her face like that, so she stayed at my house. And I know Christmas, that's my life. No sisters, like, you know, I still got the text messages and the pictures that I took of her and my other phone that we still have. Also got to know of her, so, you know.
All right.
Can you redirect? Just briefly, Judge. So we talked about you gave at least three separate statements to the Detroit Police Department.
Uh-huh.
Would you agree with me that in none of those statements did you mention a confrontation in the hallway of your house?
No, because I didn't never even think about it until someone else mentioned it to me. I was like, wow, yeah, that is, I did hear it, but I didn't think of nothing else until somebody else just really mentioned it to me, because I really wasn't paying attention, because it was nothing harmful or no confrontation like that to happen. So no, I was not paying attention. I had already asked everyone to leave my house, so everybody was going that way, so no.
Okay, but this confrontation inside your house, it was between someone Candace was with, is that what you said?
Yes, but it wasn't a conversation like that. It was just a look, I got a boyfriend. Okay.
So who said that? Let me stop you.
Taylor said that.
Taylor said, I got a boyfriend.
Yes,
And she was talking to someone Candace was with?
yeah, she was, I got a boyfriend, whatever.
Was there another, was it just between Taylor and one man, or were there multiple men?
It was a couple of people that, well, matter of fact, my friend, was there, that's whenever he got to throwing up in the hallway.
Okay. Was he actually involved in the confrontation?
No, he don't even know nothing that's going on, he kept on hand wrong.
Okay. Was there another man involved in the confrontation?
No, there was never no other man in no conversation that I can, that anybody can say that I remember. No, I do not remember, because it wasn't no conversation, or no harmful stuff.
And there were several men that Candace was with that night? One moment. I have no further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. You may start. You have something else?
I just had a couple of questions.
Okay.
Follow up?
Ma'am?
Follow up based on his question?
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
Ma'am, would it be fair to say that you have some mental health issues that might impair your ability to?
Yes, I do. I have MS multiple sclerosis. I just had surgery, cancer removed. Bipolar schizophrenia.
Are you getting treatment for that?
Yes, I am. I'm actually supposed to get a life on it right now.
This doesn't sound like problem.
Well, it is, because he was asking her about the multiple stories and different things that weren't mentioned. I'm trying to get get some answers to why maybe that's true. So I thought it was an appropriate follow-up around her based on the original question by the prosecutor. And you take medications for these conditions?
Yes, sir.
How long have you had this condition?
Years. I've been sick for the last 2 years. Well, basically 4 years.
And you had indicated that you had schizophrenia and bipolar?
Yes, I have my paperwork that I was supposed to, tell my doctor.
No further questions.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You may start.
Thank you, sir.
Any other witnesses for the people?
No, Judge.
The witnesses for the defense?
Can I have just a second?
Okay.
Your Honor, we would like to call Corey Hill, who's an endorsed witness by the prosecutor. He's here.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, can I use the restroom before we start? Just a quick.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Judge. Corey Hill.
Corey Hill, yes, sir.
I had a problem with bus company.
Oh, yeah, you were super late.
Yes.
I didn't know you were here.
Runs between. This courtroom.
Fredo Hurtis.
Yes.
Calling case 2455723. Before the state of Michigan versus Wilfredo Hurtis. And is charged in count 1 assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder or by strangulation. Count 2 domestic violence. He also has case 2455724. Charged in count 1 assault with a dangerous weapon, count 2 domestic violence. Appearances for the record, please.
Dinah Lynch on behalf of the people, P 84589.
Counsel, let me get you to step to the podium so we can hear you.
And good morning, Your Honor, Alexander Cho with the Neighborhood Defender Service, P85948, appearing on behalf of Mr. Hartis for both matters. Your Honor, Mr. Hartis is currently in custody. I would request that his presence be waived for today's hearing.
For waiving defendant's presence, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor, we have received paper discovery for both cases. However, we have not received visual for either. I would request that the people send over any and all visual discovery they have and their preliminary exam to be sent.
Of course, I will send that over, Ms. Choate, today.
Court will continue to plead not guilty and set this matter for preliminary examination. I was February 26th at 9:30.
Your Honor, I am out of town the week of the 26th. I am available. I would be available in the afternoon of the 4th or anytime on the 6th, 7th, or 8th.
Those aren't good days. About March 11th at 9:15.
That works for next, Your Honor.
Court finds good cause to go beyond the 14 days. We'll set the matter for March 11th at 9:15. Both matters.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. My apologies as well.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good day.
Okay, we're back on the record. Versus Marquise. Is it Marcus or Marquise? Marquise and Sean Williams. Sir, please give your name and spelling to the young lady seated behind you. Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness box next to me. Keep your voice up nice and loud and speak to that microphone that will be to your left. And again, you're ready.
Good morning, Mr. Hill.
Good morning.
Mr. Hill,
Just give his name for the record.
Could you give your name, could you give your name for the record?
Corey Hill.
And Mr. Hill, do you recall Christmas 2023?
Yeah.
Do you recall where you were at on Christmas 2023 in the evening?
Yeah.
Say yes?
Yes.
And where were you at?
Rockville.
I'm sorry?
Rockville, 6 Mile.
Okay, what were you doing there?
I had just pulled up to come see some friends.
And did you see those friends?
Yeah.
Which friends did you see?
Ashley and Kenneth.
And at some point, did you go inside the house on Rockdale?
Yes.
Do you recall how many people were there?
Probably about 10.
Do you recall what they were doing?
They were all getting high.
When you say they were getting high, how were they getting high?
They were smoking weed, drinking, snorting cocaine.
And when you walked in, was there an incident that you witnessed that brings you to court today?
Yeah, it was argument in the kitchen. I don't know what they were arguing about. I literally had to just walk in the house.
Okay.
5 minutes. But the argument in the kitchen, they pushed, I guess, about something about you talking about somebody's girlfriend and stuff like that.
So you came in the house and you witnessed an argument over someone's girlfriend.
Right.
The two males.
Right.
And you weren't doing drugs that night, were you?
Okay. No.
And that argument that was in the house, were two people shouting at each other?
Yeah, one person was like, I don't know what's going on. The other person was like, no. I told you, stop talking to my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying?
And at some point, did an individual that was there, could you describe the two individuals that were
I can't describe the individual who did it. Like I said, I was only here for 5 minutes. Literally. I was only in the house, I was there on the scene probably 10 minutes, I was only in the house, probably not even the whole song. The song got put on and 4 minutes is changed long. By the time that song happened, all the shit happened. My bad, I'm sorry.
Mr. Hill, did you recognize one of the individuals that was having an argument?
Yeah.
What's Dave's last name?
I don't know. Sanders, something like that. Simmons.
Dave Simpson?
Simpson, yeah.
How do you know Dave Simpson?
I know Dave through mutual friends.
When you saw Dave there, did you two recognize each other at the house?
Yeah.
And did you see Dave, whether or not Dave Simpson was partying that night?
I didn't see him partying, but he was over there, so, you know.
Did he look intoxicated?
Yeah.
Okay. And is Dave Simpson one of the individuals that was arguing with the other male that was there? Do you recall what Dave Simpson said to the other male that was there?
What part?
Argument. During the argument.
He kept saying he was gonna shoot his car up.
You're saying Dave Simpson said that?
Yeah.
Did Dave Simpson claim he had a gun?
He basically did, kept saying he was gonna shoot the man windshield on the shit. My bad, I'm sorry.
Mr. Hill, did you try to calm Dave Simpson down?
I tried to calm them both down.
And at some point, do you recall if Dave Simpson had an argument with anyone else at the house?
No.
Just with him?
I can't recall. Him and Sophie was telling him to leave, but he's still there.
Did Dave leave when Sophie told him to leave? Did Dave Simpson say anything to Sophie? Make any threats to Sophie?
He was saying, he was intoxicated. He was saying he was gonna shoot up a house, shoot dog car up. He ain't no HOE, all this.
At some point, did the individual he was arguing with leave the house?
Yeah, everything had happened.
Well, did before?
No, I ain't here. I don't know. What you mean? Did he leave the house? Did he leave from inside the house? Yeah, he left inside the house. He tried to restrain them, tried to take the situation. They tried to de-escalate the situation.
Do you know whether or not he went to his car?
Yeah.
Did you talk to him when he was in his car?
Tried to.
Okay.
Who are we talking about, Dave or the other person?
The other person.
Yeah.
Now, did Dave Simpson come out of the house?
Yeah.
And did he say anything?
He was saying he's gonna shoot dog car up. He ain't know he this wrong one, all this. Oh, he just tripping. I feel like the cocaine got something.
Now, Mr. Hill, when you say he was going to shoot Dog's car up, you're referring to the other person.
Yes.
Not Dave Simpson.
No.
And did Dave Simpson do anything after making those threats? Did he walk over to his car?
Yeah. He walked in his car, he opened the door, he act like he grabbed, I don't know if he was grabbing something, whatever. I'm telling Dog like it's not working. I'm saying it ain't working, bro, it ain't working.
So Dave Simpson walked over to his car.
Yeah.
He was making threats to the other gentleman.
Yeah.
And he reached into his car as if he was grabbing something.
Yeah.
And where were you standing?
Where was I standing?
Yes, sir.
Like by the truck between Dog car.
Okay. And where was Mr. Simpson standing?
And by his car on the other side of the drive.
What was the lighting like?
It was dark.
Do you believe that Dave Simpson was trying to project that he had a weapon?
Yeah.
And he was making threats. He would use that weapon here against
He jumped on the ledge in his car and was shouting over the top of his van and he'd shoot the windshield out of the Dog car.
Could you tell whether or not he had a gun in his hand?
No.
Would it have been reasonable to believe that he would have had a gun in his hand?
Objection, Judge. Okay, answer that, rephrase.
Mr. Hill, based on what you heard and the actions that you saw of Mr. Simpson Did you think he had a gun in his hand?
Objection, Judge. Same.
Sergeant Simpson's question.
What?
So based on the words that you heard from Dave Simpson and the actions of him reaching in his car, those movements, did you think that Dave Simpson had a gun in his hand?
Yeah, you probably could have.
Did you think he did at the time?
I can't say because I feel like, you know, you never know what somebody got. And when he went in his car, he acted like he did grab something and he was yelling over the thing like, you know what I'm saying? So he could have, to my person, he probably did have, I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
So
you can't say.
It would have been unreasonable for you to believe that he had a gun based on what you did. And you were closer to Dave Simpson.
No, I was basically in the middle. Between both cars. So it was a car sitting on the grass, like on the street, and I was right there by that car. The other car was in the grass, in the lawn, and Dave's car was in the driveway. So I was basically in the middle of both of them.
So would it be fair to say that the individual who had a situation with Dave Simpson, he was further away than you were to Dave Simpson?
Yeah.
And how was your vision? Could you see everything that was going on? Or better yet, how well lit was the area?
It was dark.
It was dark.
It was dark. There's a street light right there, but it still was dark.
Did you ever hear the individual that Dave Simpson was arguing with, when he was outside, make any threats to him?
No.
Claim he was gonna shoot him?
No.
Anything like that?
No.
And did you witness anything after that?
Well, I got shot. Yeah, he got shot.
And that was after.
I seen the shot already.
But that was after.
That was after the argument. That was after Dave did everything he did. I don't know if I can say this for record. Dave literally was threatening to go outside. You know what I'm saying? He was threatening him, telling him he was gonna shoot his windshield out, shoot his car up, all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a citizen, but I'm also a human being. You know what I'm saying? If somebody say that to me, you know what I'm saying? It's basically threatening my life for real.
And it seemed like a credible threat to you?
Yeah.
I don't have any further questions.
Thanks, Judge. Were you drinking on Christmas of 2023?
I didn't take a sip of liquor. I had literally just left home.
And did you have any drugs in your system that night?
Probably some marijuana.
Anything else?
No.
When you got that location, you noticed a large female leaving at the time that you arrived? And she was with the individual that you've been describing, you referred to him as dog, is that?
Yeah.
Okay. And that larger female was wearing a black and white dress?
Yeah.
And she had a white hat?
I can't remember. I think it was black and white first.
Okay. She was black?
Yeah, she was black.
And did you know either of those two individuals?
Nope.
And eventually you go inside the location, right? And then that female comes inside, back inside?
Yep.
And she was talking to Sophie?
Yep.
And then the male that she was with, he came inside, right? And at that time, he starts arguing with Dave.
Yep.
And that individual started the argument, right? Dog, who you been referring to, not Dave?
Yep.
And at some point, he produced a pistol during the argument?
I didn't see it. I never seen the gun when, like I told, I never seen the gun when I was in the house. It just looked like he pulled something out, and there was a whole bunch of people standing up. I'm sitting down. I'm the only one who's sitting down. Everybody else standing up. And the kitchen is so small, so you see him act like he pulled something out. And from the reaction everybody else was giving, like he pulled out a gun. Because they pushed him out the kitchen, pushed him into the living room.
So everyone pushed, not Dave, the other individual out the kitchen. And he said, or he told Dave he was gonna split his head open. And then after they were outside, you did see the guns, isn't that fair to say? And what did that gun look like?
It was like a round pistol, probably like a 9 or something.
But it was a pistol, like a semi-automatic, not a revolver. And after they pushed the other individual out of the kitchen, did you have a conversation with Dave?
Yeah, I told Dave, like, shit, Dave, like, dodge with the gun on him. I told Dave, like, yeah, I ain't got no gun. I'm out to leave. You know what I'm saying?
Dave said, I don't have a gun, I'm about to.
No, I told Dave, I didn't have a gun. I was leaving. Dog was without a gun. Dave said, dog without a gun. I said, I ain't got no gun. I'm about to leave. Dave, like, yeah, I'm about to leave too. Then Dave, just all of a sudden, he walked out the kitchen and went into the living room. When he went into the living room, I don't know what happened. He just going crazy.
And at this time,
I just want the record to reflect he snapped his finger. When he said Dave went, he snapped his finger, so that's included.
and at this time, we'll just call him Dog, 'cause that's what you remember as. Dog was outside.
Yep.
And that large female that he was with, she was sitting in the grass outside. And you started leaving and trying to calm down the guy that Dave was arguing with.
Yep. I walked out. When I walked out the living room and walked outside, Dave was at the door with Sophie. Sophie was telling Dad to leave. I went straight to try to calm Dog down. Dog was sitting in his car. He was sitting in his car. He was trying to calm him down. You know what I'm saying? And from there, Dave walked out behind me.
Okay.
And I'm telling Dad to leave. Dave walked into his car.
So you gotta answer the questions I asked, just the questions I asked. At any point, you never saw Dave with a gun?
No.
And just so it's clear, you never saw Dave with a gun?
No.
And did you ever see Dave with any sort of weapon?
No.
Did you ever see Dave with anything that resembled a weapon?
No.
And the last time you saw Dave, it looked like he was getting ready to leave?
No, he literally opened his door. He got the going off, and then he closed. The door was still open, but he walked from, like, instead of getting in the car, he walked back some, walking back towards the house. He still was in the driveway. It wasn't like, it was probably he was gonna leave after a minute, but he still was like, you know what I'm saying, running back.
Okay, and how close were Dave and Dog at that time? When you're all outside, you said you were in between them, about how far apart were those two?
30 feet, 40 feet, something like that.
30 or 40 feet?
Yeah, 20, 30, 40 feet, something like that.
20, 30, or 40 feet, okay. Did you ever see them get closer together?
This was Dog jump out the car.
So Dog jumps out the car, what does he do? Does he go towards Dave?
Yeah.
Is Dave coming towards Dog at that time? Like, are they moving towards each other, or is Dave staying by his car?
Dave basically staying by his car. So it's like he on the other side of his car. He not moving, like coming towards Dog. He basically like moved up some, you know what I'm saying? Like he moved up, there was a car in front of that. He moved up like towards that car a little bit.
But Dog got out of his car and approached Dave.
Yeah.
And you said before that he was threatening to shoot up Dog's car. Did he ever say, I'm gonna shoot Dog, that individual who was arguing?
No, he said, I'll shoot your windshield off your car.
And you remember anything that Dog said back to Dave?
He say nothing back to Dave. I was like, he say nothing to him.
Did you ever see Dave strike Dog? Did you ever see Dave strike anyone then? Did you ever see Dave push Dog? Did you ever see Dave push anyone then? Did you ever see Dave and Dog get into any sort of physical confrontation? Did you ever see Dave get into any sort of physical altercation with anyone? Okay. Once the shooting started, how far apart were Dog and Dave? Okay, and what specifically do you remember about the shooting?
I just heard the shot and I ran.
You heard one shot or multiple
I
shots?
heard multiple shots.
How many shots?
Probably 5, 6.
Were they in quick succession or was there a pause?
Probably 4, like the first one.
How long
Like
was it?
a split second pause for real.
So like one shot, pause, and then a number of shots following that? And you snapped your fingers again, so you get like a second.
Yeah, basically like a second.
And do you recall telling the Detroit Police Department that you saw Dave duck down and then stick his head back up?
He got hit once, he spun. When he spun, that's when, well, no, when he lifted his head up from off of the car, because it was like he was kind of crunched down, like slouched down. And when he lifted his head, the dog hit him. When he hit him, that's my range.
Okay. So you saw the first 2 shots, it
So I
sounds
saw
like?
the first one shot. When he spent, when he came back up and he hit him, when he hit him, Dave spent off right there by the van, but I seen the first shot. You know, all the other ones I heard.
And you saw Dave react to getting shot.
He spent over some, spent to the side.
And
I heard him say, ow.
okay. Where were Dave's hands at that?
I don't know.
To the best of your recollection, did he have his hands up? Did he have his hands pointing at dog?
I'm gonna object, Your Honor, he said, I don't know. It's asked the answer.
You can clarify. Okay. If you know.
I really don't.
Okay.
And eventually you saw dog jump in his car?
Yeah.
And he left the location?
Yeah.
And you described that vehicle, how would you describe that
It
vehicle?
was like a white trails layer.
And you also left after dog left? Did you ever see Dave leave the area? How long total were you at that house?
I literally got the house probably for, okay, I'll probably sit outside probably about 5, 6 minutes, and I probably was in the house, like I said. Probably, it was a song somebody put on, and the song is like 4 minutes and 30 seconds, so probably all together, I was at the house probably for about 10 to 15 minutes.
And between when dog threatens to split open Dave's head in the house, the first shot being fired, how much time would you estimate passed between those two?
Probably about 5 minutes.
I have no further questions, Judge.
Can you redirect? Yes, sir. Mr. Hill, the individual you're referring to as dog, he had, from the confrontation that occurred in the house to going outside, he was de-escalating the situation.
Yeah.
And,
Somebody else was de-escalating the situation, but he was basically
would it be
in
fair to say,
cooperation with it.
would it be fair to say that he was retreating?
Yeah, they pushed him out of the house.
Okay, and when there are threats that were made by Dave Simpson to shoot out his windshield, the person you're referring to as dog was sitting in his front seat.
Yeah.
So those threats to shoot out his windshield would have been threats directly against that individual's life.
Objection, leading and calls for
Based on where the individual that you're referring to as dog was sitting in his car, what could the threats of shooting out the windshield mean based on what you saw and heard?
Again, I'm gonna review my objection.
I
Question
get
of
the point,
final.
Counsel.
And the only time that the individual that you're referring to as dog jumped up and pulled his weapon was when it was after David Simpson had made the threats, reached in the car, and made that motion across the room on this vehicle towards him.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll let mine.
Okay. Sir, said that you came out to calm down the person you referred to as dog, is that right?
Yes.
How close did you come in contact with him?
I was kind of close.
Did you know him at all?
No.
Ever seen him before?
No.
And how long were you in his company, so to speak?
Probably for about a minute, 2 minutes and a half.
All right. So,
I really can't. I'm not gonna lie, Your Honor. I know what you're trying to get. I can't. This was my first time ever at this house, ever meeting any of these people. Only 2 people I knew here, well, 3 people, was Dave, Candace, and Ashley. Only 3 people I ever knew. I don't know nobody else.
All right, but you came in contact with him.
Yeah, I came in contact.
Talk to him.
I was just telling him that it ain't working. I was saying that it wasn't working.
I'm not asking you to identify anybody here. Do you think you will be able to identify that person that you're talking to?
I know I couldn't, Your Honor. That's why I told you that I really wasn't paying attention to his face. I was just worried about the situation.
All right. You say you never saw Dave with the weapon, is that right?
No.
You saw this person you referred to as dog with the weapon.
Yeah.
When did you see that weapon?
When I was outside. I
It
physically seen the weapon when I was outside. It was on his lap.
was on his lap while he was sitting in the car?
Yeah.
And when you were in the house, you said
I didn't really see the weapon.
you saw.
I think it was like a motion.
Okay. I got it. Any questions based on my questions?
No, Judge.
No.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Any other witnesses on behalf of the defendant? All right.
At this time, Judge, people are moved for fine over as charged in the amended information. I think the felon possession and associated felony firearm counts as self-explanatory. The only 2 issues I can anticipate with respect to count 1, homicide, murder in the 2nd degree, are first, the identity question. You've heard the testimony of Sophia, Lindsay, that this man sitting here at counsel's table, she identified as the defendant, came to her house a day or 2 after this incident and apologized for what happened. Between that and everyone saying that it was Taylor Blake's boyfriend, who Ms. Lindsay identified as the defendant, was the one that did the shooting here. I think it's pretty obvious, for at least probable cause purposes, that the defendant is the one that carried out this. And it seems like the defendant is going to present a self-defense argument that, of course, is typically a question of fact. This court can obviously find that I cannot meet my burden to disprove self-defense at the preliminary exam, but still it's typically one reserved for the finder of fact. And based on all the testimony we've heard here today, the best you can say about Mr. Simpson is that he got hot-headed and he was running his mouth more than he should have. Obviously, he was running his mouth towards someone that he should have been, that ended up taking his life. But nonetheless, every single person that testified this night, the defendant was the aggressor, came in the house and either Ashley's testimony explained that there was some argument that he initiated, where his hand was in his pocket, acting like he was the one that had the gun, or if you take Mr. Corey's testimony, he explained that the defendant actually threatened to split open the victim's head. He's the initial aggressor in this confrontation, and the victim is reacting to it, maybe reacting in a way that he shouldn't have, but he's reacting to the aggression of the defendant. Further, although he made some threats outside the house, we heard from Mr. Corey just now that the defendant was initially in his car. He chose to get out of that car. He chose to approach the victim, and then he ultimately shot the victim. You can glean from the medical examiner's report that he shot him 3 times in the back of the head. There is no world where the victim was a threat at that point. He did not need to do what he did this night. He very easily should have left this whole thing alone, or not even gone in there in the first instance and tried to split this man's head open with a firearm, setting off this entire chain of events. Based on that, this court should find for it.
Well, Your Honor, first and foremost, I respectfully disagree with the prosecutor. I think the evidence is pretty clear. First off, when we talk about Sophia Lindsay, was she even credible enough that we would believe anything that she could say? She told multiple stories. She couldn't keep it straight, was rambling on, and then testified that she's schizophrenic and bipolar. So how reliable of a witness is that as it relates to identity? even more so, the prosecutor paints a picture that I think is untrue. We have a situation where there's a conflict in the home, and things are said, and things are allegedly claimed, and there's threats. At that point, the testimony is.
Let's not gloss over.
Pardon me?
Let's not gloss over the allegation that your client is the one who allegedly either pulled a gun or acted like he was going to pull a gun.
Absolutely, Your Honor. We'll take that as the testimony. But then we had concerted efforts to calm things down. My client listens, according to the testimony, is listening to everyone telling him to calm down and really retreats. The testimony was he de-escalated. He was calm. He went to his car. That looks like somebody trying to leave. The problem is that Dave Simpson came out and now re-escalates. So we have a pause, enough of a pause where the escalation that was in the house.
So how do we get to your client allegedly getting out of the car?
Well,
and approaching the gun and shoots him 3 times?
Absolutely. How we get there is you have an individual, you heard the testimony. You have an individual who's got a firearm, who's claiming he's got a gun, acting like he's got a gun, making threats with it that he has a gun, but that's not it. He's not just talking about having a gun. He makes furtive gestures to go into his car like he's pulling out a gun. The witness was closer, Mr. Hill, than my client, allegedly was, the shooter was. And what we have is Mr. Simpson, one, based on the threats and the furtive gestures that were made, believed he had a gun. He didn't see a gun, but it was dark. And he said, based on the physical actions, see, we have physical actions with verbal commands, those two together. And now we talk about.
Tell me why this wouldn't be a question of fact to be determined by a trial fact, whether or not your client was acting reasonably in what he was receiving. I get you that this complaining witness is out there that's making threats, pretending like he has a gun, making furtive gestures like he's going to get it done. But could a rational trial fact find that your client could have, because he had reached a place of safety, but he has a gun in his lap, he could have driven off, he could have did any number of things, but he chose to get out of his car and confront the complaining witness and fire 3 shots, shooting him in the head 3 times.
Your Honor, in a mutual affray, there's no duty to retreat. In addition to that, we're talking about someone who's making threats to shoot him through the windshield and he's sitting behind the wheel. I think at that point, he has a right to defend himself because the physical
is that
action.
A question of fact to be determined by a trial fact, whether those actions or his first, what he perceived was reasonable.
Your Honor, I would ask what fact is in conflict with the position I'm putting forward. And as we sit today, right here in this courtroom, you are the trier of fact and the trier of law. And you can make those decisions, specifically when you've heard the witnesses, what fact is in dispute. I mean, it's not only he reaches in his car, he reaches down and reaches across the hood of his car as if he's gonna pointing something at him.
No, that wasn't the testimony.
That what, Your Honor?
No, the testimony was that he stood on the edge of his, bottom part of the driver's side door and was leaning over the hood of the car making threats. Nothing about him pointing anything. I didn't hear that.
You're all right. I respectfully, is there any way to look at this? I'm telling you, that's what the record said, because Mr. Hill did. He said he reached across the, it was all like one movement. He not only went in the car, he reached across the hood of the roof of the car afterwards, as if he was pointing something at him.
Was that during your direct, your cross exam? That you find out he said that?
And it was on my reader right now.
But I'm sorry, you're right. It was
Judge,
redirect.
I very specifically asked him where his hands were at the time of the shooting.
He said he didn't see it. He doesn't know.
Oh, he didn't know at the time of the shooting, but we're talking about the time period immediately preceding the shooting. Judge, I don't think that's true, but even if it were, you have another
I'm trying to
witness.
listen. What'd you say?
I'll let you listen.
Because I think I reached the spot we were talking about. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, even if it were true, you have a witness that says he made some pointing gesture, and then you have that same witness saying the defendant then approached the victim, and I couldn't see the victim's hands at the time of the actual shooting. Plus, you have another witness, Miss Davis, who says, I didn't even see him with anything that looked like a gun. I didn't see anything that resembled a gun that night. Miss Davis's testimony is completely inconsistent with that. It's a question of fact for the finder of fact, but I'd like to point out that they're incorrect that he doesn't have a duty to retreat in this circumstance. He absolutely does have a duty to retreat. There's no law that allows him to take it into his own hands to execute this man in this driveway. It's simply not what the law says.
So he could, so my person right here. So he think that it was like a reasonable possibility for the anyone, it's not going to be there. And you were closer to the no. So I was in basically in this over so the car shit on the grass on the street. I was right here by that car, the old car was in the grass, getting warm, and the gas car was dark. So I'm basically little warm. So there's a thing that the individual who was in a situation that they were he was totally related to and how was the reason? Did you see everything that was going on? Or was it? Yeah, how long was it? The girls in the street, like the girl. Things you up again, when it was outside, they gave gratitude. Maybe it was and this is different. Anything after that? Now they're not being sorry. But that was after. I like the years. I don't know if I say this for record. They literally threatened all that. They threatened telling you to appreciate all the shooting stars. I'm a citizen, but I'm also with me. And if somebody say that to me, there ain't no problem with it. They ain't see what the couple of you do.
You said it was doing a redirect?
And at this time, what specifically, said that she came out to calm down the person. And eventually, so
that was a redirect.
Yeah, left the location. Now. And that argument that the house, would you be shouting at each other? Yeah, one person, like, I don't know, the other person, like, no. So, at some point, the individual that was there, you described the individuals that were, I can't describe the I said I was here for 5 minutes. I was in the house, I was there on the scene, probably 10 minutes, I was in the house, like, not even the whole song after 4 minutes to change one, by the time that one had the voice, my dad started. This
Mr. Hill, did you recognize one of the individuals that was having the argument? Yeah. Which things that? How do you know these? We saw them there, you recognize each other at the and we made them whether or not they party, but I didn't see a party, we go there, so they were being activated, yeah. And Dave Simpson, one of the individuals that was arguing on the other down. Do you recall that Dave Simpson that the young man was? Do you know whether that was started? Yeah. Did you talk to him when he was started? Okay. Who did you talk about? I didn't know the other person. The other person here. Now, the Dave Simpson come out of the house. Yeah. And they say, we all are up, we the strong one, all this. Oh, I'm like, okay. Now, Mr. Hill, when you said he's going to shoot dogs around, where this other person, yes, not David Simpson. And the David Simpson, after making those that they want over the side here, you want to be part of the door at work. I'm going there, let it go, and I work. So, David Simpson walked over to his car. He was making friends with the young gentleman. And he said to his car, and looked at his back. And where was he? Yes, I'm sure we know that. Okay, and where was Mr. Simpson staying? What was the light like? You need to be was line up the jack button. And he was making friends. You want welcome? Yeah. Because you jumped on the ledge, it's hard, shouting over the top of the ledge.
Did you hear that? He said he jumped on the ledge of the car and was shouting over the hood. Didn't say anything about pointing anything. You didn't hear that?
Judge, listen, I think you're right there. I have no reason to contest what you're telling me. Okay. I want you to know that, Your Honor.
All right, I thought I missed something. You said he acted like he was pointing something.
Well, I thought that's what.
I didn't hear that testimony.
Well, Your Honor, you did hear the testimony that he went in his car and he made the gesture as if he had a gun as a threat. I asked him specifically.
Like he was going for a gun.
Well, that he was going for a gun, that he made a threat that he had the gun in his hand. It was reasonable to believe that he had a gun.
That's my point, that may be a question of fact to be determined by a trier of fact, whether or not he was reasonable in believing and acting in lawful self-defense as a result thereof.
Well, I just want to put on the record and then I'll be quiet, Your Honor. The testimony was from that witness that it was believable to think that he had a gun.
And he believed it.
Well, and it goes to what a reasonable person. There's no conflicting testimony against that. It goes to a reasonable person. And I would just say this to one of the arguments the prosecutor made in the People versus Gabriel.
Here's the thing though. If it had happened right then and there, I would be with you. But there was testimony that after that, your client gets out of the vehicle and approaches the complaining witness. Now that's a problem. That's problematic.
So, Your Honor, is what you're thinking is there was a gap period between when there's this threat and when he gets out of the car? And
there's a threat that's made
to shoot up the windshield.
Your client gets out of the vehicle. What is he getting out of the vehicle for with the gun?
So he doesn't get shot up, he's sitting behind the windshield. And that's where the claim was, he was going to shoot up the windshield.
Where the question is, were his actions reasonable in getting out the car and walking up and shooting this young man in the head 3 times?
Well,
or could he have driven away or done any number of things other than walk up to him and shoot him 3 times in the head?
I think that the standard is whether or not it's reasonable under those circumstances.
I thought I said that reasonable. And were his actions reasonable or not? A trier of fact could find that his actions were reasonable. A trier of fact could find the opposite, that his actions were not reasonable. That he had some malintent in, first of all, pulling or interjecting a gun, a real gun, in the first place, a gun that someone seen eventually anyway.
Your Honor, I understand where you're coming from. I personally think that the testimony isn't in conflict, that the actions as well as the words of Mr. Simpson supply the reasonableness of the actions of the defendant. You obviously disagree. I've made my record.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that a rational trier of fact could disagree with your point. A rational trier of fact could agree with your point. That's what makes it a question of fact to be determined by a trier of fact.
Well, I get it, Your Honor. I just, at this phase, I believe that the court is sitting as the trier of fact, and you have the authority and the ability to make that decision, even at a preliminary exam, and to consider affirmative defenses and everything.
I do, but as the assistant prosecuting attorney said, I have some conflicting testimony as to what happened out there. Who do I find more credible? I don't know. It's going to be a question of fact for a trier of fact. The court is satisfied that people have made their burden of probable cause as it relates to the charges contained in the complaint warrant. The court finds that an amended complaint warrant, the court finds those charges were committed in the city of Detroit, and the court finds probable cause to believe this defendant committed. The defendant will be bound over to Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court, Criminal Division for further proceedings. His arraignment on the information date and time will be February 27, 2024 at 9:00 a.m. There was a pretrial services report for the defendant that recommends no action on this file. File will be continued.
Your Honor, does it give a judge that we're assigned to?
I'm sorry?
Do we have a judge assignment on that?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
It's going to be randomly drawn.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience, Judge King.
All right. I have the people's exhibits.
So what? Get downtown, yeah, coming downstairs. Yeah.
Yes.
Sir.
It's gonna be really quick.
I can be really quick. I'm just gonna tell, I'm just gonna see them, like, we'll go over everything, the transcripts. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Next time you guys can just call me, you don't have to write a motion. Might agree with what,
Figured it was a holiday weekend and
save us some time.
I appreciate that. Next time we'll reach out that way. Those holidays. So you're not interrupting people on them.
I was on the call anyways.
Right on.
Thank you very much, sir.
What's
up? On the Court of Appeals, I look right
He wants to see you real quick.
Mr. William wants to see us.
Okay, they're coming together. So he wants to ask you another question.
Make sure that they don't take trash.
Oh. I apologize. Sorry, sir.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's going on quickly.
Okay. Makes sense.
No, because it's an older case, it was Judge Giles.
Okay.
I promise we'll get together, all right?
Usually takes about 2 days.
Good deal. I'm sure we'll be on the lookout just like you are.
Go to a hearing tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't even imagine.
See you, Judge. Thank you.
Very good to see you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
We'll say that's the first time I had somebody call witness a preliminary exam. It was. You got a picture.
Yeah. Bring the paperwork down a little while.
Believe me, what I was saying about some.
That's not my cup of tea.
Have no presumption against it.
You didn't see how comfortable I was, like, right? But I think
I was just having a blessing.
Right? Process a little more fun. Yep. Sounds good. We'll be in touch.
Good one, everybody.
Thank you, Judge. Hope you and your staff have a great day.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
That concludes the docket for today's work, so we'll see you tomorrow, same bat station, same bat time.
Do you still have that amended that Mr. Hicks gave us? Did we give it back to you?
I thought.
And then
It's not in the file? One thing he added is a count for the fire.
I can have it amended.
You want to work?
Mr. Hicks, see if he still had that amended. Did we give you that amended copy there?
Maybe, I can give it to you either way.
Yeah, I need a copy. Send it. You didn't need a copy?
No.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anything else? No. All right. And I'll see you on Zoom tomorrow.